I'm Mike, and today, orthorexia. Ortho literally means right, and orexia means of appetite. And if you look at this literally, I, as a vegan, have orthorexia because I eat what I consider to be morally right. I have an appetite for what is right. And that's right by most people's standards. People don't think killing is okay, and they don't think stealing is okay, so I don't eat any dead animals or stolen animal byproducts. But it's not just orthorexia, it's orthorexia nervosa. Most people do not apply the term orthorexia nervosa to correct eating in terms of morals. They talked about it correct eating in terms of healthy eating, which is why it's considered an unhealthy obsession with healthy eating. And I do not have that since I don't have any nervous habits around eating, and I also don't have any eating disorder of any kind. I eat about 3,000 calories a day of whole plant foods, and I have gained weight since I've gone vegan. Though it isn't yet medically recognized officially, it is a psychological disorder in which your obsession with purity leads to an obsessive-compulsive relationship with food and eventually starving yourself. But there's a bit of a fuzzy line of where healthy eating becomes orthorexia. If you look at the definition straight off Google, it says, quote, "A medical condition in which the sufferer systematically avoids specific foods in the belief that they are harmful." So systematically avoiding unhealthy foods makes you orthorexic. I'm sorry, but if I am dodging spinach with E. coli, I am not orthorexic. Same goes for cancer-causing and cholesterol-laden animal products. Which might be why the founder of the term orthorexia, Stephen Brotman, says, quote, "Veganism can be a wonderful, admirable, healthy lifestyle, and its ethical and environmental motivations are exemplary." Whoa, whoa, whoa. Slow down there. I know you have an MPH, but did the founder of orthorexia just say that veganism can be wonderful? So how do you know if you actually have orthorexia? From nationaleatingdisorders.org, they ask, quote, "Do you wish that occasionally you could just eat and not worry about food quality? Do you wish you could occasionally leave your wife and kids behind, shoot up heroin, and drive your car into the river?" This all just seems to fit right in with ignoring the carcinogenic effects of meat, the brain-shrinking effects of fish, and the erectile dysfunction-inducing effects of trans fat and cholesterol from animal products. And that eating unhealthy really isn't a risk. Wrong, because eating unhealthy is the #1 risk of death. So from a statistical perspective, it is a rational concern to avoid unhealthy foods. But let's be honest, the term orthorexia, as often as it is used to describe an eating disorder, it is also very often used to shame people who make an effort to eat healthier. Yeah, you eat way too healthy. That's like psychologically dangerous. Pass the Doritos. Are you orthorexic? It prevents people from eating healthier because they are now irrationally afraid of focusing on healthy foods. Kale? No, that's a gateway food. That being said, if you do have an eating disorder and do resonate with the term orthorexia, then by all means go ahead and use it. Just don't conflate it with veganism, like the Balanced Blonde with her book Breaking Vegan. She joins us here today live. Jordan, tell us about the title. I named it Breaking Vegan because I love Breaking Bad. And the Breaking Blonde's fan blog page defines veganism as eating 800 or less calories a day and avoiding solid foods. Okay, that's wrong, but what does your book say about veganism in particular? It's not really about veganism, it's more about how I can sell more books if I throw veganism under the bus. And people love the idea. The money is flowing in, but I can't deposit it into the bank machine because it's covered in animal blood. Sounds like you're having some issues. I also heard that once people get the book, they realize that veganism is unbreakable, that there's no legitimate excuse to not go vegan, and then they rate it 2 stars on Amazon. I know, it's so annoying, but keep your eye out for my sequel, Breaking Animal Rights, where I openly dismiss animal suffering so you can enjoy your steak and eggs. In all seriousness, I do not think that eating disorders should be downplayed, and I do wholeheartedly believe that Balanced Blonde had orthorexia. But I am very disappointed in how she mixed orthorexia and veganism together, especially because for most people, veganism is actually an ethical choice, not a health choice, which makes it a bit like writing a book called Breaking Buddhism because they avoid animal products as a diet. What bothers me about the orthorexia discussion is that it's all focusing on a psychological disorder in a very, very, very small percent of the population, when the psychological disorder that 90+% of the population has when it comes to believing that they are animal lovers and then also turning around and eating dead animal flesh day in and day out, taking an animal that was once living and breathing that if they saw on the street they would probably pet and comfort, and then eating that same animal on their plate. To me, that type of disorder, psychological disorder, is way more concerning than orthorexia. In conclusion, orthorexia is real. We should not dismiss people that actually have eating disorders, but we should also shift the conversation to what is actually killing the most people from a statistical perspective, and that is eating those unhealthy foods. It's not avoiding those unhealthy foods. We should also be aware that the term orthorexia is largely used to make people feel good about their bad eating habits, and is also used to shame people who try to eat healthy. That being said, do not believe the hype. Keep eating healthy. Veganism is not an eating disorder. Thank you for watching.